Hi YouTube, welcome back to my channel. I thought I would take the opportunity this afternoon, as I have for once finished work for the time being a little early today in good light. It's a beautiful spring-like day here in London this afternoon. I thought I would show you a couple of my spring purchases from Guerlain today. I have a few from Chanel to show as well, but I have been saving those really till I've used them a bit, and particularly till I had an opportunity to do my manicure properly, to show off one of the nail polishes that I bought. And so far that hasn't happened with all the heavy duty housework I've been doing, so I need to make time for that. But I have got two Guerlain items to show you this afternoon that, to be honest, I didn't plan on buying anything from the Guerlain collection. There hasn't been an awful lot of publicity for it. I haven't seen much about the Guerlain Spring collection, which I think is called Pearl Glow. Pearls seem to be a bit of a theme this spring, which is happy news for those of us who like wearing pearl jewellery and also like the kind of luminescent glow that we associate with, or I associate with, pearls, which is translating in these collections to a pretty kind of multifaceted pearly glow, as it were, to the makeup ranges, which I think is a lot kinder to some of us than the more vibrant or the more kind of terracotta tones that we've had in some of the other collections. Chanel, I'm looking at you with your spring-summer collection. So, what brought me to Guerlain? As you know, I do like Guerlain products. I think of them as real classic staples. It's not a huge range, or it's quite a big range of makeup. It's probably the only luxury makeup, perfume, skincare house that isn't kind of an arm of a fashion house. It is a purely fragrance house to begin with, and they've carried on with that tradition, so very specialist in a way. And I think some of the specialist products they do, I've talked about this before, are among the best. I think of their terracotta range for the kind of bronzing glow products. I rate their highlighters very highly, and the Meteorites, which you can see in front of you, a cult product, a traditional product from Guerlain. But truth to say, I have slimmed down my Meteorite collection of recent years. I used to collect them. I've told myself I don't now. I think I have 3 pots still in my makeup drawers, and only one of them, the Snow Globe from a few years ago, do I use regularly as a finishing powder, which by and large they are. But I saw one of Angela Van Rose's videos a couple of weeks ago, I'm going to say, where she talked about one of the 2 versions of the spring Meteorites. This one is called Pink Pearl, which for us pale-skinned women works actually as a blush rather than a finishing powder, which is unusual for Meteorites. I do think they did a specific blush one a few years ago. I thought I still had it, but I haven't. I haven't completely imagined that. So I thought I would get this, and it came yesterday. Quite difficult to find. I don't know whether I'd slightly missed the boat. I ended up getting it at John Lewis, who were very quick delivering, I have to say. No fancy packaging, unfortunately. It literally came in a brown, rather shabby-looking envelope, but it came. Now, I will say, you can see there, no fancy duster, just a piece of foam, which is what they've gone in for in recent years. These are more powdery than any recent Meteorites I have had, although I haven't bought, I'm going to say, the last 2 years of holiday Meteorites collection, so I'm not the most up to date. But what you can see is how pink the collection is, with some quite vivid pink balls there, And you can see how that's translated onto the foam. Now, in fact, I've worn these once as a blush yesterday, and I don't know if this is going to work. This is what I did. I dabbed, there you go. You can see it's a bit shadowy here because it's so bright outside, how potent the kind of transference onto the sponge from the pot had been. So I didn't even need to dip my brush in the pot, and a very bright candy pink, and I just blended it out with a soft brush. It's not showing up terribly well now, but I promise you on my cheeks it definitely did. I wonder if I can get a little bit more light in from... It's probably too much light now, isn't it? But oh, there, you've got a better idea. You can see. Very sparkly. If you don't like a sparkly cheek colour in the sunlight, you're not going to like this. But it's a really, really vibrant candy pink on my cheeks. And I really, really love it. Really, really pretty. So a slightly different Meteorites. I think they have got an ordinary kind of whiter pearl one, which is much more like the usual finishing powders as well, which I didn't bother getting. So I would only say that this is very, very soft. You can see the kind of transference around the side of the pot there. And of course, always slightly more fiddly to apply than a compact. Because you've got to dip your brush. You've got to get the right sort of brush, really. I generally like a moderately stiff brush for Meteorites. But as I say, I used a very soft one with these to blend out. Really, really pretty. Not going to work the same, I wouldn't have thought, on darker complexions. It's just going to be a much kind of rosier finishing powder. But if you're fair-skinned, this one will work as a very pretty blush. Now, coincidentally, at the same time as I was eyeing Angela's video, she was the only one I've seen talking about this collection. I'm sure there must be others. I was contacted by a lovely subscriber who has her own channel. Some of you will know, Lara Martin. She makes her videos both in Russian. I think she has a huge Russian subscriber list. Because she is Russian, she speaks very fluent English and lives in England, and she makes some English translations as well. And she was asking about a couple of things, including whether I was going to get this Guerlain shade of lipstick that people were raving about. Now, I haven't heard anything about it. I haven't had a Guerlain lipstick for a long, long time, not because there's anything wrong with them, but because I've just got too many lipsticks. I've talked about this before. I don't know what's wrong with me. I never get through a whole lipstick before it goes off. I guess I just don't apply as often as most people. You know, I put it on first thing in the morning and then frequently forget about it until lunchtime, maybe touch up then. And if we're lucky, I might touch up once in the evening. But frequently, it goes on first thing in the morning and that's it. Even if it's in my handbag and I get round to touching up. So I'm not a big lipstick wearer. And much as I really admire people who've got a chic, vivid gash of colour on their lips, I'm thinking of, you know, our stereotype of the Parisian woman. I don't think it is a particularly Parisian thing, but you know what I mean. I'm just not disciplined enough to do the whole careful painting the lips, and my mouth isn't good enough, and vivid colours never look quite as good as I think they're going to on me. So I stick to very boring colours, or frankly, a coloured lip balm or something like that. So I was intrigued when Lara asked whether I was getting this and told me the number of the lipstick. And again, oh my goodness, this was really difficult to work out because some of the websites that sell Guerlain online don't give numbers. It was very, very hard to get a look at what was meant to be the spring collection. one thing led to another. Eventually, I tracked down from various websites, and this is in the Rouge G range, if that's what it's called. And it's the one where you have to buy the case separately. I have done this before. It's a bit of a rip-off, to be honest, because the cases are quite expensive, and you need I mean, you could use the refill without a case. Let me show you what the refill looks like, but it's a bit odd. It's got a little lid on, but it's a bit odd. Now you're getting dazzled and blinded by the sun. Honestly, it's one thing or another, isn't it? We don't see the sun for ages, and then we see it too much. There we go. So they were doing 2 limited edition specials of this case, and you can see I haven't even opened it yet. Let's take the sticker off. One was the pink pearl, which is this one, which gives you the little mirror inside, and one was white pearl. I'm quite glad I went for the pink pearl. Here's the lipstick. There are 2. There's a more beigey looking one that's showing quite dark in the viewfinder, but it's very, very pearlized when you wear it. Again, that's not, there you go, you're getting there kind of with a side glance how pearly it is, and it's very pearly on the mouth, although that is almost exactly my natural lip colour, so it kind of looks as if I'm just wearing something shiny on the lips. I think it's a bit retro, really, a bit kind of 70s. This is like the kind of first lipsticks I ever wore as a teenager, or rather that I could get away with wearing without my dad going berserk for some reason if I wore anything bolder than that. So yeah, it's very pretty. There's another kind of more beigey but similar one, which maybe would show up more on my lips. I don't know. It's got the kind of typical lipsticky smell. It feels nice on the lips, but wears off pretty quickly. I'm not sure I would particularly recommend it. It's a gorgeous case, isn't it? Although it weighs a ton if you've got that in your handbag. I will definitely wear it now I've got it. Interestingly, when I went through my copious drawers of lipsticks thinking, oh, I've got loads that look like this, I haven't actually. So from that point of view, thank you, Lara, I've got something different now. In terms of the shade, the very kind of, I would call it almost, when you look at it in the bullet, let me show you again. Oh dear. There we go. And before you see how pearlized it is, to me that looks like a kind of slightly 90s solid mauvey neutral. And they don't look dissimilar, do they? This is one of my more used, I have to say, Tom Ford's. I think this is Addison, is it? Yeah. But so there's the Guerlain one, looking pearlized, and here's Addison, which isn't pearlized, so you can see is much bolder because it's not a pearlized. There's a slight sheen on it. I have to say, on the lips I would still slightly prefer Addison because it gives me a bit of colour as well as the shine, and I do like the Tom Ford formula, which is very nice. When I kind of looked for pearlier ones, again, looking at the Tom Ford, here's one that I like a lot in the summer. It's Marguerite from the Girls and Lips rather than the Boys and Lips. There you can see super pearly as well, but a lot pinker. Very retro. I mean, this definitely is full on 70s, isn't it? So there you go. It actually doesn't look that dissimilar from some angles to that Guerlain one. I don't know if Marguerite is still available. I haven't looked on the Tom Ford website. But yeah, it's a pretty lipstick. I'm not sure if it's all that special, but the case is certainly very special. If you collect the limited editions, I'm sure you'll want one of the pearl cases. So a very small but perfectly integrated collection from Guerlain for spring, very appropriate to spring, light, feminine, and if you like the Guerlain products, you're probably going to like these. I definitely think the Meteorites is one to consider if you're in the market for a very, very pretty, feminine, somewhat glittery, but you know I like my glitter, blush, and you're fair-skinned. So there we go on the unexpected purchases from Guerlain. I hope to get to you a bit quicker than I did with my Chanel Les Pearl review of what I got from that collection. Don't get excited, I didn't get that much. And then just one final word if you've got to the end. We're very upbeat here because we like to talk about our love for luxury, fragrance, makeup, skincare. But today is exactly a year since pandemic lockdown began in the UK. It's a day of remembrance and reflection. A lot of people stopped work for a minute at noon to think about those they have lost, those who have died, those who've been ill, and those who've helped us get through the last year. And YouTube has helped a lot of us get through the last year and reflect on more positive things. So it's worth being thankful, those of us who are still here, for what we've got, what we can enjoy, and look forward to good times as well as remembering all that's gone on in the last year. So I wish you and yours a safe, happy, healthy afternoon. As always, please a thumbs up if you've got to the end here. And I'd love to hear what any of you have bought from the spring collections, Guerlain specifically, if you have, and what you think. Until next time, bye for now.